Hi everyone, Great Power 60 here. So here's my second DIY on how to make these cute bags out of envelopes. And I wish I could remember the girl's name. I try to keep a list of all of the ones that I like doing. And unfortunately I don't have her on here. But what I can do is put it in the description below and give credit to who showed me how to do these. Alrighty, so we just take a regular envelope, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to seal it. I'm going to turn you around again meaning I already did a DIY on the little boxes. So here we go again, my messy corner here. Alrighty, you can see it okay? Now, you could lick this, but this would leave a gap here and here. So we're just going to seal it. I'm just using, I don't know what this stuff is called, glue tape. And I'm going all the way down to the edges because I want those to be sealed properly. And we seal it. Easy peasy. See, I shouldn't do that. I use this paper because I don't want tape on my cutting board. Alrighty. So there's my nice flat envelope. Now what I need to do is score 1 inch down each side and 1 inch across the bottom. I'm going to use my cutting board. Try not to cut it. So we're going to go 1 inch down, 1 inch across the bottom, and 1 inch on the other side. And there we have it. I hope you can see the scores. I'm not sure. There you go. Alrighty, so I've scored that. Now what I do for myself is I take and fold it on the score lines and score it down. Sorry, before I do that, the scoring is on the bottom, so at the top we need to snip it. I'm doing this all backwards here. We need to cut a little slip of it off the top. That's your opening. There we go. Okay, so it doesn't matter how much you take off. I mean, I just took off this little bit. It's up to you. I take off as little as possible. So there's your envelope. There's your envelope. And there's your score lines. So now what I'm going to do, which I started to do and I didn't finish, is score these down. And I score it both ways. Because it's going to be a square box on the bottom, you want it to be able to fold open both ways. The first times I did it, I did not score both ways, and I found it was a little messier trying to open up the box. So what I'm doing is I am scoring, using my scoring tool to really fold it down, depending on how thick your envelope is. And I do it both ways until I'm happy with the flap. The flap is okay. This one here needs to be a little bit more. The more often you do it, the more you'll realize how important this part is when it comes to opening it up and folding it. Alrighty, oops, I didn't do this side. These are just little, I mean, she didn't show this on the video, the girl that showed this, of doing it, scoring it with, on the score line or on the folds, go down with your scoring tool. And I think she should have, because it makes it so much easier to do all of this And I do it often until I'm happy with it, especially on the bottom part where it's really thick, because that is your bottom, and you want to be able to fold that really well. Alright, so I'm quite happy with how well it is flexible. I think even this one a little bit more. It's just me. You guys can do what you like. Alrighty, so here's our envelope with all the scores, with all the folds, ready to be formed into a box. So the tricky part is, I got my hand in here. The tricky part is to be able to push this down, and you'll find that by doing the folds a couple of times, it's a little bit easier. And what I'm doing is I'm using as I'm pushing this down, I'm using my finger along this fold to make sure it goes down well. Another trick, pull out, and I find that it goes down better. So you'll see, these are just little tricks that I picked up, and I'm just tucking these little corners down because we want to fold that corner down, because that is going to be the bottom. See, and I'm just rubbing along where the point is, because that's going to go down, and the less bulk you have at the bottom, the better. So as you can see now, I have that little pointy flap because I'm flattening it to a point so that when it goes down and I glue the bottom, it'll stay there properly and it's not so crumpled. I did this a couple of times, ladies and guys, whoever's watching. I've done this a few times, and I found too, before you fold that part down, if you flatten your points, it's less bulk when you go down. I hope you can see this. It's all white, so it's hard to see. But I just use extra finger pressure. I just find that it works better when you're folding these down. And then I pinch the fold lines again. As I said, it just was little tricks that I found works better to fold it down nicely. And it doesn't leave wrinkles. Depending on how thick your envelope is, it won't leave as many wrinkles, and it'll look more professional, or store-bought if you like. And then after I glue it down, which I will fold that in and make it a little nicer. So now we need to glue these down. So that's my next step. Let's get these all glued down. Again, see, I don't like using my cutting board, so I always get the cheap craft paper so that I can use my gluing and not have to worry about where I go with it. Alrighty, so that's pretty glued. Again, my hand goes in because I'm going to fold those down. And we're going to fold that one down. And as you can see, it leaves a crisper looking bottom when you do that. Now this is not enough to do that, to really get the pressure on everything, get the glue in really properly. I take my tacky glue bottle, and all I'm doing is just pressuring, and I'm kind of turning it as I'm pressing down, just to give it that absolutely pressured stuff in order to get these nice and flat. And that is nice and flat. And here is your bag. Now, excuse me, usually I use my, what do you call these things? Edge stamps, whatever, to do that. I usually do it before I do all the folding, but I wanted to sort of show you everything very quickly. you can still put it through without worrying about wrecking anything. See, you can still do it. It's just easier. I usually do it before I fold it all up. So we're going to open her up again. And now what I'm doing, here's your little box, and that's pretty much it. What I like to do is these folds on the sides, I like to push those in and just gently bring this down a little bit, just to give it a little more shape, as you can see, compared to this side. So I'm just pushing that in, and I'm bringing them together, and I'm doing it very gently because I don't want too many crinkles in this thing. And I just find that sometimes it crinkles. That's why, and I'm just using my fingernail to go down the fold line to bring it in. Just so that, and I come down as far as I can without ruining sort of the looks of my box or my envelope here, envelope bag, and there we are. And there you have your little box, and you decorate it as you please. And as you can see with mine, and then you can fold it down as much or as little as you want. But this is mine, and this is how I did it. And I put a sticker on the back, I call it the back, where the V is of the, where you glued it up the top of the envelope. And I like to put a sticker there just to kind of reinforce that little divider, the glued part. Anyway, that is that. That is how you make an envelope bag. Now, if you happen to have a lot of envelopes hanging out, you know, you can make your own. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon. I hope to do some more DIYs. I'm going to do a couple more, but for tonight, for this morning, early morning, that's all I'm going to do for today. Thanks for joining me. Please give me a thumbs up, like and share, and subscribe if you haven't, and leave me comments. Let me know how I'm doing. I'm new at this, guys. I picked this up from everyone else on YouTube. I'm sure the first girl that ever did this is probably not being credited, and I feel bad for that because great idea. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you again soon. Bye for now.